Tonight, Bill Whitaker is covering the historic LA wildfires from the air and from the ground, starting in Altadena, California.
The story will continue in a moment.
The Eaton fire burst out of the San Gabriel Mountains above Altadena Tuesday night. It has since devoured more than 7,000 homes and structures in this tight-knit, diverse community, making it one of the most savage firestorms in Los Angeles County's history. The death toll is rising. Wildfires are a fact of life here, but nothing prepared people for destruction on this scale. Rows of chimneys now stand like tombstones, towering palm trees like burned matchsticks. We found fire crews still working to contain the inferno, and a dazed Calvin family sifting through the ruins of their homes and their lives.
This is unreal. Oh my God. My house is fucking...
Zaire Calvin and his family have called Altadena home for 3 generations.
Just wonder if anything's left. The rocking chair for the baby. I literally just built all of this.
Calvin, a high school football coach, has lived on this block his whole life. He has seen a number of wildfires flare up in the foothills, but never in his 47 years had he seen anything like the firestorm that swept off the mountain this past Tuesday.
And out of nowhere, you see the fire appear across Lake Street, and you can see it going up the mountain on our side within an hour. For it to move that quickly and that rapidly, and for it to shift paths that fast was insane.
Altadena gone, bro, it's over.
His son Jameer told us the winds kicked up and power went down across the neighborhood.
It was like a hurricane, just fire, no water, but like 80 miles an hour plus. It felt surreal.
Was the fire like racing down the hill at that point?
Yeah.
That's what's scary about this. It just was shooting.
Like a blowtorch?
Like a blowtorch. It was literally just shooting off of the mountain. It felt like you're being attacked by a storm.
Yeah.
As the fire bore down on them, Zaire put his wife, baby, and mother into the car. Jameer grabbed what he could.
I'm lucky to even have the little bag of clothes that I have left, but as far as trophies, memories, diplomas, everything else just went up in flames.
My mom just said it to me. She's like, everything's gone? You mean the books that we have, like nothing? I'm just like, Mom, it's all gone. All of it. Every memory, all those things are gone. We have whatever's left in our heads to rebuild with. All of it's gone.
This fire in Altadena was just one of 8 destructive wildfires that lay siege to Los Angeles this past week. With almost no rain for 8 months, hillsides and backyards were bone dry, primed to burn. Investigators are still trying to determine how the fire started. But whipped by ferocious Santa Ana winds, those blazes roared down city streets and spread like a deadly virus. No place seemed immune. Neighborhoods not engulfed in flames were blanketed by smoke and ash. Wealth and status offered no protection. Affluent Pacific Palisades was first to fall. Thousands of structures were destroyed. Thousands of people were forced to flee.
The conditions that night were unbearable. It was a devil wind that came out. You know, that extreme Santa Ana wind condition.
Anthony Maroney is chief of the LA County Fire Department, one of the officials overseeing the firefight. He told us the devil winds hurled embers far ahead of the fire, like snowfall from hell.
Embers like this are transported in the smoke column and pushed
as big
downwind
as this?
or bigger.
So this is being blown by the winds way
Thousands
beyond
and thousands of burning embers, this size and bigger, being transported by that wind and that smoke column
Chief Maroney says fires normally run uphill.
But with these winds, it was pushed downhill into these neighborhoods.
And sending these embers
Right.
blocks, if not miles ahead.
And the embers were being generated not only by the brush on the hillsides, but by the homes that are burning.
When the life-threatening winds started building, Maroney told us he called up extra crews and engines, but the fires grew too big too fast. Demand for water overburdened the system. Water pressure dropped and fire hoses ran dry while the fires raged. We hear that people were complaining that there wasn't enough water or wasn't enough water pressure. Was that a factor?
So the water system was stretched. Metropolitan water systems are not designed to sustain a firefight like this. Your viewers can't expect a municipal water system to supply enough firefighting water to extinguish every one of these houses. That's unrealistic.
Did you have enough resources? Did you have enough firefighters? Did you have enough fire engines?
No, and there's not enough fire engines for this.
Ordinarily, for one house like this, you might have three or four
fire engines. We think we've lost 8,000 structures. So times 3 fire engines each, that requires 26,000 fire engines. I don't think the state of California has 26,000 fire engines. That could be at one place right now.
Your firefighters, your resources, everything, overwhelmed.
Absolutely overwhelmed.
Mother Nature owned us those 2 days.
Neighboring Orange County Fire Chief Brian Fennessy has been fighting wildfires for almost 5 decades. He dispatched hundreds of firefighters to help Chief Maroney and beleaguered crews across LA. One of the most powerful tools in their arsenal? This fleet of high-tech choppers that can fight fires 24/7, dropping up to 3,000 gallons of water each pass. But with Santa Ana winds gusting near 100 miles per hour, the choppers were grounded during crucial early hours.
The fires that they experienced this week were unstoppable.
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 What's it like for you, a firefighter, to have to say words like that?
It makes me feel bad, right? I mean, that's not in our nature. I mean, we're fixers. That is the mindset. We're gonna put our lives on the line. We're gonna give a lot to save a lot. So when you have a fire, like you say, that's unstoppable, man, it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable.
After an uncomfortable 27-hour delay, the choppers were able to get back into the fight when the winds died down.
Hop on it.
Thank you. Thursday, Chief Fennessy let us join a reconnaissance flight so we could see the destruction from above.
Air Attack Copter 76 on air tactics.
We flew over the fire zones.
We have active fire line all the way up towards the communication towers.
And saw an ashen checkerboard of devastation stretched below us for miles at Pacific Palisades. When we flew over Altadena, where Chief Fennessy grew up, he found it hard to get his bearings.
Oh my goodness. It really wiped it out, man.
Oh, wow.
Holy crud.
So the Rose Bowl's just down.
Yeah.
Kind of orient you, kind of see the Rose Bowl from here. I had no idea it extended this far.
You can see charred buildings, warehouses.
Everything gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
In the early morning hours after the Altadena fire erupted, Chief Fennessy couldn't reach his brother. Although it was out of his jurisdiction, he drove up from Orange County.
Here's Tony's house. Total nightmare.
When he learned his brother was safe, he went to check on his longtime friend, Tony Goss, and this is what he found.
I'm so sorry, Tony. Oh my God, brother. This place was glowing. It was completely hot. There was a gas main over here that was venting, and so it was like a jet engine. It was pretty loud. Tony's still in his pajamas. He looks like a firefighter. His face is, black from all the soot, and he's walking around, I don't know if you remember this, you walk around kind of talking to yourself.
Goss had tried to save his home armed with just a garden hose, but the fire was too fierce. When we met him, he was still in disbelief that he'd been forced to walk away from his family home of more than 60 years. But this was gone.
I knew it was time to leave. So I pulled out, and all my neighbors are right there. I said, no, it's time. I don't need to die today.
Chief Fennessy then went down the road to his brother's house. The block was in flames. He discovered the gas meter at the house next door was surrounded by fire and about to ignite. And he said there was no water.
So I needed to cool this down.
So Fennessy got creative.
I ended up forcing entry through the front door and went through the house, into the kitchen looking for bottled water, anything that I could use. And so I ended up finding a carton of milk, and I think there were a couple beers or sodas, whatever the heck they were, and came out here and really, literally had to kind of go in there under the heat, wet it, and then get out because it was just, this house was just burning. And had to do that a few times till it was done. And
Bet you've never saved a house with milk before.
No. To do nothing means the home's going to be lost.
Yeah.
And in this case, yeah, a little bit of milk and a couple of beers really saved the day.
The houses he fought to save are the only two left standing on the block. The devil winds are forecast to intensify again tomorrow through Wednesday. Evacuation orders have been expanded. The city remains on edge.
These fires are going to be an impact, to the community, families, people for many, many years to come. This is one of those fires, if not the fire, that they're going to be telling their grandchildren about.
This is just rubble. What is this?
In the chaos of evacuating his baby and elderly mother to safety, Zaire Calvin got separated from his sister Evelyn. She lived next door.
Everybody's yelling, get out. I'm thinking that she's getting out. And the next day after the storm, I come back and her car's still there. So at that point, in my brain, my soul is shaking.
He and his cousin found Evelyn's remains in the rubble.
Evelyn, why did you leave?
Zaire's grief is shared. 5 Calvin family members lived on this block. 4 lost their houses. But they're trying to hold on to the hope that they can rebuild their beloved community.
Everyone's in the same boat. Like everybody you would depend on, everybody you would go to, they're all homeless also. They just lost everything. They've lost all the memories, all the joy, everything that we've built together. In this neighborhood, we all lost together. And I hate it. I hate it because I love Altadena.